Hi everyone. Today is Monday, February the 3rd, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. My name is Anne-Marie Band, and we are beginning a new month, so we're going to look very quickly at the monthly candlesticks before we jump in to motion. We can see that we still have largely bullish formations. This tariff event is a little bit of a shock factor, but it was telegraphed, and it is to try to help stop the flow of fentanyl and the undocumented coming into the country. And so it would be nice if we did work on that. Got a lot of fentanyl issues out there right now, particularly, very interestingly, in the counties that are in Florida here as well. So let's just jump right into that. We can see that we are right at the open of last month. We gapped down from here at the close at 60.73, looking here at the E-minis. And if we go to the weekly, we can see that we have a sideways formation. Jem Karzan says this a lot. He says, tops are processes and bottoms are events. I'm not sure that I'll buy both of those, but I think they're very interesting concepts. So what we are holding the floor of is 59.63. So that is the no-go and the go area. We're going to be trying to recapture upside pressure and fill the gap here for bullish behavior, and below 59.39 we pull back just a little bit. So it's very interesting to me, on a side note, that if the market were allowed to come in just a bit, we could have a liquidity event that would really stop runaway inflation, because liquidity would dry up. And so, a very crafty way to pull in things a little bit so that rates could come down would be to affect the market. And so that's just me putting my crafty hat on, wondering what's going on in terms of, full bore moving with price action in the future. All right, so here we are on the day. We are above the low, but below the open. And so that open is going to mean something. If we breach 59.88, that gives us a little bit more of a continuation event that allows us to get into value area high, which would be 6,013, and then to fill the gap, which is at 60.57. And so zooming into the 1 hour formation, we can see that we're trying to form a bottom, right? But look at trend, significantly down. Keltner bands in the same direction. Trend in the same direction. So VWAP is the only thing that's sideways, and that's this morning's formation. My thought is those dips, 59.35, give us the first pass at a buy zone. Currently, the selling pressure event is at that region near 59.88. Again, above 59.35, long action, as long as we're coming into that area. Below 59.35, sell action. So because I say above 59.35, it's a long, doesn't mean that you go long here. It doesn't. Trend is down. Momentum is up because it's trying to form a bottom. So the good news would be, if we didn't come all the way to 59.35, if we came to 59.48 and stalled here, like we did in the early part of the morning, and let that create the new buy zone. So that's what we're looking at. Levels below, all the way down to 58.72. Let me do a Fibonacci on a daily event yesterday. Let's see what we have. We've got the upward flow, okay. Everything's inside this candlestick. So this is the candlestick I'm going to measure. Most everything is inside the, whoops, wrong direction. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Let's try it again. Okay, so that, oh, interesting. That gives us that base, 59.35, 59.40. Below that, 58.72. There's really nothing holding it there but a few choppy spaces around 58.90, 58.95. All right, let's take a look at the NQ. Monthly formation, still very bullish, folks. Inside candlestick today, right? The low edge, 20,007, what is that? 700, right? 20,700, looking right at that zone as long as we pull in and bounce off that area, we've got bullish pressure. Right now, we are battling the open of last month and losing that zone, but above 21,269, we likely have more bullish action ahead as price action tries to recover. We are very negative in inventory, right? Inventory is very, very short. That normally causes some kind of a reflexive action. We'll see if it bounces. Look at this weekly formation. Very sideways. Where's the candlestick that's holding that? I think it's this one. You might go, well, everything's been above it. Yes, so let's measure that. Let's measure above. We can see resistance. That candle I'm measuring is November the 4th. Let's measure below. Oh, good grief, my brain. Below gives us the 50% marker at 20,700. So, go, no-go line, 20,700. As long as we pull back into that area and hold it, we're going to have bullish action. Below it, we have bearish action. So that's going to be the line in the sand for the week that we follow. Let's look at the daily. We can see that we were very sideways. My video last week said, preparing for price expansion, and we certainly have expanded. We expanded to the upside. Now we're expanding to the downside. Lots of liquidity sitting at 20,950. Probably going to be a gamma line. And those gamma lines are by Mentor Q Pro. I have it all in the write-up, but it seems like a lot of us don't read the underneath. We just look at the video, but there is a lot of stuff written there, including action items and the like. So what are we looking for? Potentially, we could pull back into 20,983 and bounce from there. But my thought is still the best place for the pullback is going to be 20,700. And we'll see what happens from there. We should have a reflexive action, which means that bounces likely to give us sell zones. That number, 21,450. I don't know that we'll get there, but that 21,450 is the first area that I think we see sellers try to pile in and go, not so fast. If we breach 21,450, we're trying to get to the low of the candlestick that we measure from Friday's behavior, collapsing into the 1 hour. We can see the low of that candlestick is 21,524. Notice slope down, momentum up. That means candlesticks are going to retrace each other as they try to find new support. 21,165 is value area low. Are the first bit of buyers going to try and come in there? Yeah, they will. They'll try. I don't know that they're going to make it, but they will try. So if you're looking for a reflexive bounce into that area, that's a good one. Upper edges, 21,542, and just below that, 21,425. Now, if we lose 21,168, this key area at 20,983 will be the next reflexive zone that the buyers will come in. Notice, this is the opening candlestick formation, and literally, we're still sitting inside it. We're still sitting inside it. We came in, touched just above, and now we're back in that space. So my thought is it's going to be a little bit sideways to choppy until we get out of this opening range. Should they try reflexive buy? Yes, that's down here at 20,981. Let's go to the YM. All right, take a look at the monthly. Very bullish, the most bullish of the bunch. Also the most negative of the bunch today, right? But we are inside this candlestick of November. Still inside of it, retracing. We're still compressing. Best buy areas, 43,000. right? If you're looking for a swing event, right now, sellers are pushing on the chart, and so 44,700 should be a resistance zone. Let's look at the week. We can see that it's really in a range. Momentum is inside of the middle. That means bounces or sells, pullbacks or buys. Let's go into the daily, see if we see anything else. So, bounces or sells, we saw 4 different opportunities to sell the high all of last week. All of last week. Sell the high. That number stayed at that 45,100 zone. We saw it collapse. Volume profile pictures were very nice there. Now we're coming into support. Here's the first line. It's 42,000. And that is that January 27th candlestick that we've been staring down. It's still measured. We're underneath. Notice it opens at the halfway point, which is literally at the open of that candlestick. And now here we are at the bottom. Are buyers going to try and come in? You betcha. Is it going to be hard? Yes, I think it's going to be hard for them to hold. But that's going to be the reflexive area. If they come down, swish, shake the trees a little bit, and momentum stays up, this is going to make the buy when it recovers 44,000. At this juncture, slope is down. So very obvious trend. VWAP slightly down. And this is the opening candlestick of this formation. Opened right. Oh, good grief, man. Opens right at the top. No shadow whatsoever. And now here we are at the bottom. This looks to me like it could be bottoming. We have to see what happens, right? Anne-Marie, what do you mean see what happens? If you can get into the body of that opening candlestick formation, look, we have no candles there. If we can go outside of that at 44,246 and then pull back, we've got ourselves some bullish action. Right now, they are still trying to carve out the floor because of trend. All right, let's take a look at micro Bitcoin. Let's go to the monthly. Caught in this candlestick for January, but this November candlestick also very, very important. This is the one that we really are looking at because we're inside this candlestick once more. We're also inside this candlestick for January. So let's draw the Fibonacci, right? 110 at the high. You know, my thought is that we come into that 83. But I don't know. I'd love for it to come into 74, frankly. But this is what we are looking at currently. And the 50% marker is 100,287. Right now, we're at about 95,000. That's also the open of January. And you can see the traders coming into the low of December and trying to bounce. Where's the go, no go today? I think it's 91,000. All right, if we collapse right into the daily, a little bit noisy with all the lines I've got drawn here. That's a big one. What's this one? What day is that? January 21st. We're outside of that zone. I'm going to delete that Fibonacci, get things a little cleaner. Clearly, 91,725 is the go, no-go line. If we pull back into that area and bounce, we've got good motion. But take a look what's happening here, right? Sideways Keltner band, but they're expanding. That's volatility expansion, meaning that the bottoms might be a little wider. Could this be a megaphone building, which means it would collapse past 91,000 and come into that deeper level? There's one level of the megaphone formation, and then here's the other one to that megaphone formation, telling us that we could get to that 83,000 that I am looking for. If we go to the hourly chart to see what's trending up, everybody's doing the same thing. They're all following the same rhythm. Here's the rub for this one. Look where the opening candlestick formation low is. It's not even the high of this current bounce, right? Not even the high of the current bounce. I'm going to shift. No, I'm going to leave it there to the opening candlestick. That's 98,500. Here we are at 95. Are we trying to make higher lows? Yes. Is momentum up? Yes. Is trend down? Yes. Sideways VWAP. It tells us the bounces that we might take here at 95,000, they're likely to collapse before 96,400 until we make some structure here. Now, could it jump dramatically? Yes. So if you buy it here, At this 95,000, you've got yourself about $500 of risk. That's not really what the micro Bitcoin is. It's much less than that. You can look at that and then see 96,000. You can raise your stop right to that 96,000 once you get up over 96,800, and then you can stair step it up into 98,500, right? So go, no go for me is as long as it holds 91, there's bullish pressure here. We could be making a new floor at 95,180. Let's get to oil. We know the tariffs are, oh, that's interesting. Let's look at the monthly. We know the tariffs should have an effect on oil and gas, but there's actually a loophole for the oil and gas industry as long as it's transported on U.S. trails. Gosh, it's a sticky little thing, but it turns out not that big of a deal. So oil and gas has a little bit of a loophole there for us. Lumber is going to be the biggest thing that we should see skyrocket today. Or if it probably has already skyrocketed. All right, what are we looking at? From a monthly perspective, we held the floor, 68, still the long, $68.17 is that low where we would position a long. If it does come back, notice where momentum is sitting, folks. Momentum is low. We're grinding lower. We have all these lower highs. They're trying to get oil to come in. If oil comes in, there could be less production, which might make oil sit in a little bit of a flat action event because people who deliver oil want to make sure that they're paid for it, right? Anyways, that's what's going on. We have gapped up from the close of Friday, which was last month. Let's jump right to the daily. We can see we had a downward trending event that lasted 5 days of motion and then upside again. So where's the go, no go today? $73.22. If we start falling below that edge, we're going to have bearish action into 71 and potentially 70 and then 68. If, as I suspect, we hold 73.30, somewhere around there, our pullback areas should be reflexive buys. Okay, right now we're trying to stay above 74. And so if you say to yourself, hey, well, I want to buy there, you can. Momentum is giving you the motion where you can buy at the 74. Your stop is about 60 cents wide. That's $600 to you and me in an oil contract. That's a little pricey for me. I don't like doing that. And so I would rather wait rotationally until there's a ton of congestion, which is round about 73.70, 73.80, and see if there's reflexive action there rather than trying to buy at 74.30. Okay, that's pretty expensive. But pullbacks are buy zones here. Clearly, intraday pullbacks are buy zones. The Keltner band is up. The trend is up. We're above the VWAP. Look at the opening candlestick. This is the big thing right here. Look at this opening candlestick. Got sold off right at the top near 75. The 50% marker is currently where everybody's stalled out. 74.50. If we breach 74.50, this opens up the skies to 75 and above. If we cannot, very likely that we head back to that 73.80 and below. Okay? The low edge, old resistance, new support, 73.30, 73.40, somewhere around there. That's going to give you your buying pressure. Let's take a look at gold. Very bullish, right? Now, a lot of people are saying, I read an article over the weekend. It said, oh, people who buy gold, when you see gold going up, you fear the market. I don't know that that's what's happening this time. One, we know central banks and governments are continuing to buy gold. Hand over fist. Why? They're concerned about their fiat currencies. They're an absolute train wreck. So I think there's something more systemic about the rise of gold. We are over the close. No. We are fighting at the close of last month, right? And that close is 2,835, right? If we stay above there, pretty nice. Now, we did dip in the overnight, and that low was 2802. So That should be the go, no go for the day today. Now you might go, good grief, Emery, that's $40 away from here. Yes, but well, gold moves a lot faster than it used to. All right, here we are on the dailies. Here's our Fibonacci. We're still looking at January 30th, right? We'll look at both ends, 50% marker. That's what Friday did. It came right back into 28.26. I called that number on the bounce. And it faded last night into 28.05 and then bounced. 28.05 is the go, no go, right? It could come down into 27.93. And if it loses that, it'll stair step all the way into this heavy congestion value area high of 27.50. Right now, it's building an outside candle on the day, and that's a lot of variability. A lot of variability. What does momentum and trend tell us on the 1 hour? Upside formations. We're above all the moving averages. They are cresting higher. We're making higher lows. Our Keltner bands, both sides are moving up. Momentum is moving up. When we see confluence like this, upward drift, above moving averages, Keltner band moving at the same time, there's going to be very little candle retracement, right? Now here, you can see the moving averages sort of flat. And so we do have candlestick retracement, but here, in the last several hours, we do not. Why? We're above the moving averages, momentum is up, and the Keltner band is up, right? What's the fly in the ointment, Anne-Marie? Well, when we get very high momentum, and we're far away from trend, we're going to start to retrace candlesticks. Okay, so the 50% ledge, 28.40. If you want to try a long, right there at the half back of this hourly candlestick. Otherwise, I'm still looking for 28.26 to 28.30 to get involved on the long side here in gold. All right, SPY. Here's the monthly chart. Very bullish, folks. Very bullish. 574 looks like the floor of this motion, right? To me, anyway. And then super heavy congestion right into 564, right? That's what we're staring down. Okay, let's go straight to the daily. We can see that we've had that gap down. Which Fibonacci's am I measuring? Oh, yep, very nice. Look at the top. This is the one that we chose to measure. Looks fantastic. Coming right into the edge. Where's the go, no go today? My suspicion is that the line that allows us to stay long on the pullbacks is 589. Yeah, 589.20. Above that area, we'll get some bullish action. Below the area, we'll get some bearish action. What's momentum tell us? Well, momentum is a little down. Trend is flat-ish. Flat, it's down here, it's up here. So it's very sideways motion. Keltner band, also kind of flat. Bottom edge expanding a little bit. So bounces, also sell zones, folks, in this particular formation. What is the selling event? 600 to 601 is the bounce area that I expect that traders have a ton of trouble with. The VWAP close is 602.40, but I don't think we get there. I think 600, 650 is what we're staring down. All right, if we go to the hourly, there's our 589, right? It's bouncing right off of that edge. Look at how low momentum is. It's in the area where it should give us some kind of reflexive action, but this is showing us, this is telling us bounces or sells at this juncture, right? Value area low at around the $600.90 is going to be the best selling opportunity. You might go, Anne-Marie, that's $7 away. Why can't I buy there? You can. It would just be a counter-trend reflexive move, and you'd want to manage your risk very carefully, right? I would say wait for that bottoming edge to really frame out. Maybe it comes in and it holds 591, and you go, hey, that's the stop I'm going to use. I'm going to use 591. All right, we got to get out of this noise here. We absolutely have to, because what it's telling us from that opening candle formation is that there are a lot of sellers at 595. Finally, the Qs. Well, that was a big bounce. Let's take a look at the monthlies. A very bullish, right? Really bullish. Here is the floor of the prior month. These, I think sometimes these things are called evening stars or gravestone dojis or something weird like that. But it's all about what happens afterwards, right? All about what happens afterwards. So far, dips or buys. Look where it came into. The low edge of that wick is the high edge of this one. High 501, low 499, right? So it dips below it and then immediately recovers it. And that's what we're staring down. Top end of the range, still 540, right? 539-ish. Let's go to the daily. My suspicion is the closer we get to the open, the more inventory correction we're going to see. Meaning, inventory is very short. They want to take their money so they can go to Peter Luger's or wherever. Maybe they're off to buy themselves a new Maserati. I don't know. What I do know is when inventory gets that short, they try a reflexive move. So what are we staring down? Something that's holding the bottom. Where is the no-go area? It is 505. If we lose that area, we're headed to 501. Maybe 501 comes back and gives us a test. Look at trend and momentum. Trend is flat. Momentum is slightly down. Keltner band is flat. So what does this tell us? Candlesticks that retrace. Candlesticks will retrace. Okay? And so the big formation tells us that we can still see buyers coming underneath, trying to hold higher lows. But we also have these lower highs. So we could be in digestion mode with the big move in the pre-market. We'll just have to see, right? Go, no go, 501, right? As long as we pull back into that area, it's still a buy zone because of the recent past telling us that. If we go to the hourly formation, we can see that the trend is very low. Now, momentum, very low. Trend, very low. But what's just happened? They came in, shook out all the week longs, saying, oh no, this must be my number. And now they're bouncing. Where is this candle? I can't see it. What's the high? 513. And that's where we are. We're above the high of the opening candlestick, or we're dancing with it, okay? We moved all the way up, 521. That's a nice shorting zone if you ask me. 521, 522, very likely to get retested. So if you're taking the longs above here, manage your stop carefully, okay? All right, that's it for me. Good luck today, folks. Intraday, we got to watch this 512, right? Big picture event says that we should test 501 eventually. But today, if we hold 512, you're in good shape. Else, we're going to test these lower edges. So intraday motion looks very different to daily motion today. They've already filled the gap. We're likely to retrace back into this area as we do some inventory correction. Take care, everyone. I'll see you on the streams.